Hello, everyone. So today I feel honored to welcome our inspiring guest, Nidhi Nikhanj, a true example of how passion, healing, and purpose can beautifully align. Her journey is nothing short of inspiring, from being a fabulous interior designer, shaping external spaces, to now becoming a wellness life designer, guiding women to design their inner world with love, strength, and healing. Nidhi's path reflects a beautiful return to the roots, embracing sattvic, plant based living, holistic practices, and emotional wellness as the foundation of true health. Along with her husband, she co founded Ahar, a soulful cafe in Dharamshala, where food is served as medicine, nourishment, and pure joy. Through her work, retreats, and healing practices, she is inspiring women reconnect with their mind, body, and soul, reminding us that wellness is not a trend anymore, but a way of life. So let's welcome Nidhi Nikhanj.
Hi Parul, how are you?
Hi Nidhi, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. So good to see you.
Yes, and so good to have you here today in our podcast.
I'm so
So
thankful.
let's start
Yes.
right away. So Nidhi, in the beginning, I always start with asking about something about my guest's backstory. So, here also, I want my audience to know that when you grew up in a very difficult environment, as I know you a little bit and I know the past, how did you transform that pain into the purpose? And वो क्या ऐसा motivation था which kept you going in that difficult time? So, what made you just move ahead in those challenging situations in life?
Parul, one thing that comes to my mind is that visual when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and there would be a lot of difficult things going on in the family, like the relationship of my parents, financial situations, all of that, that how a kid kind of, observes that situation and absorbs it in their life. I just looked up in the sky one day and asked whatever there was above. I did not know if there's God or a goddess or a power. I just looked up at the sky and said, I am not born for this. I must be just 7 or 8 years old. And I don't know, that is one memory that has stayed with me because I was trying to connect to the source, to the power, to the universe at that moment, and that made me believe that I'm special. And for some reason, no matter how difficult the situation has been, I've always believed that there's something special about me. And so I was just seeking throughout my life, when I was not aware what am I going to be doing in my life, just seeking what's that special thing, you know? So that kept me going despite, the toughest situations, the most difficult circumstances, I would say. um, that is what kept me going. Yes, the belief in my innate power, I would say.
That's so unusual. इतनी छोटी सी age में, if you can even figure out that you are not born for this and there is something bigger than whatever you are living, I am sure you would be working a lot towards your entire personality. So, how did you nurture and strengthen that belief during the lowest phases? And स्पेशली मैं ये इसलिए जानना चाहती हूँ निधि क्योंकि आज के टाइम में एज यू वर्क वेरी क्लोजली विद वुमेन I'm sure many of them who are stuck in life, they feel suffocated, but they don't know how to come out of it. Many of
Yeah.
them feel, बहुत से लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि I'm also not meant for this, but I don't know how to go ahead. And they're stuck in their sufferings, in their day-to-day life.
Right.
So I want you to guide them. How did you find that North Star for yourself? And how could you guide these women who are still facing these kind of challenges but want to be out of it?
There are one or two things that I would like to pinpoint here when it comes to, manifest that kind of strength, courage from within you during these circumstances or situations where you feel I can't change much. You feel so helpless. And honestly, time and time again, I've also felt helpless in many situations. But one thing that transformed or changed or I adapted early on in life was being a rebel. I was not someone who would go by the norms or be a quiet, submissive person who would listen to what she was told to do. I've always learned, become cautious by burning my hand in the fire. I have never been someone who would be told to sit quietly and she would be sitting quietly. So I've always done that. I've always made my life difficult and then learned which way to go. I've always, I would say, treaded difficult and unexplored areas by people. So I would say that I belong to a huge family. We are about 28 cousin brothers and sisters,
My
none
God,
of
that's a
whom,
clan.
uh, that's a clan, yes. So none of my sisters ever stepped out of their homes to go beyond the cities to educate themselves in a certain stream or jobs or anything like that. I Because shared one thing, that I was a rebel, so I never went with the norms ever. I was the only one among my cousin brothers and sisters. My brother was the only one among the cousin brothers and sisters. My father being uh, having the least, he never provided that financial support in terms, because he was also struggling. They all of my cousins were born with silver spoon, I should say, a comfortable life, and the ones who have struggled have seen the transformation. So I would the first thing, very essential, is that struggle and challenges are important. A lotus is not going to bloom in filtered water. A lotus is only going to bloom in muddy pond. The second thing I would like to bring your notice to is that my when I burnt my hand and learned from it, I never went back making those mistakes. So I was never too careful. Um Asking is what I learned. So to grow and to reach where I have reached today, we often resort to thinking I'll do it all by myself. And for a very long time, I also had that notion, doing all everything by yourself. But then when I realized the importance of asking, अरे ये भी तो एक option है. So when I realized the power of asking, the power of making those powerful requests to people to support you, to assist you, to guide you, and when you turn that into your power, because see, it's very stupid to feel or think that we are able to achieve everything on our own. Whatever we want to do, we'll be able to do it on our own. It's not possible. So we are mothers, we are daughters, we are employees. The journey of our life always keeps pulling us down, either in the aspects of health, relationships, or whatever situation we are into, till the time you are on a hunt to figure out whom to ask, who is there to help, whether they are your parents, your siblings, your friends, acquaintances. you know the more open you are, the more avenues open up for you. The more closed you are, the more things are closed for you. Another thing that has kept me going despite all these challenges, I have braved through all kinds. Call them physical health challenges, financial challenges, relationship challenges, everything I've been through. So there is no difficult situation that I've not seen in my life. Uh, so one thing that changed me was being intentional. I never forgot what am I meant to do. So once my husband asked me, कि तूने NID कर लिया, you went to India's topmost design college, you're so talented, you're so creative, what is it that you want more? you know I could have done a job, and I was doing interior design projects with my dad and independently also. I wasn't happy. Why was I not happy? Because that did not give me that kick, that push, that inner satisfaction. And I told him that what I want to do is bring smile on people's faces. So that is the answer that I gave him. And I think I did not know 10 years ago, 9 years ago, that this is the journey that I'm going to take on. But now I know what I said really made absolute sense. Now I'm doing what I really wanted to do. Like we know, this is my ikigai. This pushes me out of the bed. This makes me work tirelessly without getting exhausted. Yeah.
Yes. So I think I can so very well relate with you, Nidhi, because मुझे भी एक अपना बचपन का एक ऐसा एपिसोड याद आता है, because as you mentioned about your big clan, I also had my cousins around, and I remember one of my brothers asking me once when we were very young, हम बहुत छोटे थे, कि Parul, what you want to be when you grow old? I said पता नहीं, कुछ तो करूंगी, बट घर पे नहीं बैठूंगी, वॉज द आइडिया। आई मीन क्या करूंगी और कुछ तो करना है, but that kuch to karna was never clear at that time. But I'm
Right.
sure when we pass those episodes in life and
Yes.
experience things, they give us, I mean, that is the roadmap which we follow. And वो एक कहीं कॉलिंग आना कहीं बहुत जरूरी है, जिसके लिए वी ऑल, what you are doing, what I am doing, it's that one thing you mentioned कि वो जो एक स्माइल है, वो
Yes.
एक किसी की लाइफ में आप इतना सा भी चेंज ले आओ, it
Yeah.
makes a lot of difference. That satisfaction is beyond words.
Yes, it
And as you
is.
mentioned, you were always a rebel. कभी भी तुमने रेगुलर रोड मैप फॉलो नहीं किया, एंड दिस इज द आइडिया ऑफ गुड वाइब्स ओनली पॉडकास्ट, बिकॉज वी वांट पीपल टू नो दैट इससे आगे भी दुनिया है। जो हम रेगुलर 9 to 5 की जॉब अगर कर रहे हैं, दैट्स ओके, दैट्स सर्वाइवल, but that's not life.
Yeah.
And even the challenges you face, you move out of it. Now I want to seriously know, I mean, this is my curiosity inside, that you were a very fabulous designer, right, with big dreams, and today you are guiding women as life coach. So what was the turning point that shifted that whole pattern of fashion and interiors to this wellness and healing? What made you do that?
So, Parul, I would say that designing, yes, I was very passionate. So, whatever I've done in my life, I've done it with a lot of passion. I cannot do anything with half heart. That is my problem. So without feeling that current, that energy in my heart, I cannot get to doing, get my hands dirty to do things. So I was a fine art student in graduation. I was a textile design student in my post graduation. And that too, I cracked India's topmost design college, NID. And whereas I did not even have any financial aid to kind of pursue my master's degree from there, but I just had this passion. So one thing I forgot to tell you, I have been practicing Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism for over 21 years now, and that was something that kept me going in the early days of my life, especially when you're figuring out and you're finding answers to your problems and situations, and why are people like this, why can't people be happy. And when I entered this beautiful group of people, they had uh, they were ready to support me, guide me completely selflessly. And I have transformed a lot in there, right? So, from designer to a life coach, I don't see too much of a difference, because design essentially is problem solving. So when you say what is the definition of design, design basically means solving problems. You talk about product design, textile design, you talk about, of course, we focus on aesthetics and beauty also in design, but that is not the only focus. The focus is problem solving first and then aesthetics and beauty. So if I talk about helping women shaping their lives, I am doing the same. I'm not doing much of a difference here. So during the lockdown, also I experienced following a certain Ayurvedic food diet, how I was able to heal my thyroid and diabetes, which I had during my pregnancy. And it was a difficult time, so to say, but I did not feel that difficulty because I was really doing well. I used to chant 3 hours of chanting, prayer at that time when I was pregnant. And then I was not having an iota of fear or doubt that whether I'm going to deliver or not, whether I'm going to have my baby healthy or not, whether I am going to be healthy or not. That was not the question at all. The question was, how well can I do it? That was the intention. Like I said, intention was always the basis of it. So as I realized that I had been practicing Buddhism for so long, and while practicing Buddhism, I realized that the most important thing one can give or provide in this world is hope, compassion, empathy, love to a person who's suffering. And I remember my mentor's guidance, Josai Toda's guidance, which I read in one of the books. He said that when people come to you for guidance, make sure that if they are crying or if they are suffering, you are able to see them smiling again when they go back home. So that somehow
Absolutely.
stuck with me. That stuck with me throughout the practice. And even while I wanted to, I was giving my all to become a life coach and an emotional wellness coach. Uh, I realized that is so very important. So it is not about sharing knowledge. It is about helping bring about the transformation. And even though I've been doing one person at a time, one student at a time, I've been going step by step. I've not been going all out and teaching in groups. That transformation has led me to grow so much because I've seen that those smiles coming back, and those smiles have been coming back forever, not just for a little while. So that transformation has happened, and I believe that my design journey has not uh, stopped. It's just that it's changed its form from being a sculpture student, to a textile designer, now to designing lives. That's all. And now I also have a restaurant where I help design recipes and create food which also heals. So
Yeah. So I was just about to ask about this ahar only. But before I go there, you mentioned it so beautifully that Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism, which shaped you into the person who you are today. And I think
yeah,
that's the cord which connected us together when we
yeah,
were
it did.
back in our journey of life
Yes,
coaching, right?
yes, yes,
So it just recalled me the day when we met for the first time, and
yeah,
it never felt as if I'm meeting some stranger.
yes,
So since then till now, the
yeah,
journey
yeah,
continues, and I'm so
yeah,
grateful for that.
yeah,
One more thing I would like to even ask here, that as your ahar, this ahar which you have shaped so beautifully now, and it is working towards again going back to sattvic food and all that. So the viewers would definitely like to know more about it, because you started it initially uh, when you were in college. In those time you
yeah,
started,
yeah,
and now it has grown into this soulful healing cafe and retreat.
yeah.
So what is this journey? How do you teach patience and vision? You give vision to the people in this beautiful space of yours.
So, Parul, this has also been a long journey. This is not like short term. Yes, of course, AHA started about 1.5 year ago. But this is a 2.0 version of the AHA that we started back in our post graduation when we were in Ahmedabad studying at NIT. And, we all have our patterns of our relationship with food. And in my family, the relationship with food was always about everything. We are Punjabis, by heart, by soul. so, so food
खाना तो
is
नस नस
like
में है फिर. Food
khana,
is.
flavors, all of that. How my father used to describe food. So my father and his siblings, they've always been talking about the moment the season changes कि अब season का पहला साग बना लिया हमने मेथी बना ली अब so I've grown in that environment. So how my dadaji used to my bauji used to serve, make sure everybody gets the equal thing, if there's something new being cooked. So khana was a regular discussion every day, morning, afternoon and evening in our house, right? So uh, journey of course started from my childhood, in my DNA. खाने में. But जब मेरी शादी हुई और I conceived, I realized that I've got thyroid and diabetes. उससे पहले, sorry, going back to NID, I would say, you see, we never understood portion control. So अगर राजमा चावल बने हैं घर में, तो इतने पेट भर के खाएंगे जब तक पेट में दर्द नहीं हो जाएगी. सो दैट वाज द काइंड ऑफ अप्रोच. और पेरेंट्स भी ऐसे खिलाते थे ना कि एक और परांठी, आधी और परांठी खा ले, इतनी स्वाद सब्जी बनी है. हाँ, स्वाद तो बनी है, खा ही लेती हूँ. So never understood, never realized that that was also damaging the digestive system and the endocrine system, and body can only take a certain limit. But when you're young, all this you don't realize, and even body is too young and it can cope up with everything very easily. So as we went to NID, and अहमदाबाद बहुत गर्म जगह है, ठीक है, और डेफिशिएंसीज और ये सब चीज़ों के सिम्टम्स पहले ही दिखने शुरू हो गए थे. फूड का सिर्फ मैं ये एक एस्पेक्ट अपने चाइल्डहुड का बताया आपको. देयर इज अनदर एस्पेक्ट वेयर we went through an extreme financial crunch where we would barely manage to cook chapatis through the day or not have sabzi during the day. There were days when we did not have money to buy cylinder. So my mother would cook chapatis on that coil heater in the daytime. Once when we were going out for college, and वो coil heater टूट जाता था. So after we would come back from college, my brother or my father would repair it, and then we would again manage. So we've seen very difficult times also. And that was the time when you are growing up, you are in your teenage, and when you need most nutrition, that is when I feel that uh, we were deprived of nutrition, like having fruits and things that are required by growing children. So these were the two extremes. So when there was food, so the psychology and connection with food was also because of these situations, that because you have today, you should fill your stomach as much as you can, you see. So that led to a lot of deficiencies, whatever the reasons were, but this is the background of it. And before I went to NIT, I remember my father saying that if you're not feeling too well, you must not go. I said, I'm not compromising on it at any cost. So once I landed there, and after about 6 to 8 months, I suddenly saw my weight growing. So my face became all big balloon. It ballooned up completely. I put on weight. I became too fluffy. My clothes became tight. And one day I woke up in my hostel room. I looked up myself in the mirror in the bathroom, and I started crying because uh, hypothyroid हो गया था. Hormonal issues तो मुझे शुरू से ही थे. PCOD and period pains and all of that was there from the very beginning. And my periods used to last 7 to 8 days. So it was very difficult. So, so all that is the cause behind focusing on wellness. So that is when during Pankaj, who's my husband now, who was my batchmate at that point of time, um he was doing his dissertation project, and we somehow came to this point that if youth can be nurtured, because it is youth who's studying in the colleges, we don't get that kind of nutritional food in the college. Why don't we start something? So vada pav, Maggie, ये सब कुछ होता है ना hostels में. So everything to do with maida. So we actually started feeling that body is weak, और कोई रोकने टोकने वाला नहीं है, तो you'll have a cold drink every day. So there are no right choices that you make. We started making healthy sandwiches and healthy kathi rolls, where we used to layer the chapati with ghee and put chatpata aloo and mushroom wraps there. We would make sandwiches. So we used to ask a friend who was also a Gakai member, he owned a bakery, to make special bread for us. So we started our journey there in Ahmedabad, and all our faculty and our colleagues used to start their day with our breakfast. तो वो अपना कैंटीन में स्किप करके आते थे सीधा हमारे, सॉरी कैंटीन में नहीं, मेस में स्किप करके आते थे कैंटीन में, where we used to keep these dabbas of sandwiches, and they used to start their day with our sandwiches. So that is how the journey started, but it somehow took a backseat. And but after lockdown, I think we all were able to appreciate and consider the importance of good health, the challenges. We all started cooking. but I explored the aspect of uh, Ayurveda, sattvic food, and it helped me lose 12 to 13 kilos. I overcame thyroid, diabetes at that point of time. My husband lost 18 kilos. We had immense energy to run around and do everything that we wanted to. Our daughter did not fall sick in 2 years of having, going through the phases of COVID lockdowns. Imagine. So I contracted COVID, but it kind of had the feeling of it for about 2 or 3 days, but it did not impact us that much. So that's how the journey of AHA started. And now what we are doing is a complete 2.0 version. It's a much better version of, we use millets, we don't use any preservatives, we make our own coconut milk, our own almond milk in the kitchen. We don't use sugar, we don't use bleached salt, we don't use white rice, we don't use maida, we don't use refined oil. It is a challenging journey because to convince people, sattvic food always gives a picture of khichdi and boring food. But we do
Yes.
everything. We do a tikki, we do a chaat, we do everything here. So
And when we're talking about food, or abhi, it's the fasting time on, Navratri chal rahe, and I'm sure there's something very unique and special cooking in the kitchen of Ahar. So what is it all about? How are you handling these 9 days there?
Navratras have just started, so we are closed on Monday. So yesterday was an off, so today it started, and we are doing some amazing sabudana momos, and we will be doing,
Momos.
yeah. So it's interesting.
Interesting combination.
Yeah, and we will be doing again the basic kuttu ke aate ki roti, and we have created this thali, which is going to be, so we do kaddu ki sabzi, which is made with coconut and tomato curry, and then we do aloo, which the way we make aloos in Navratras, without any onion and garlic. So what we are serving at Ahar in general, people can come and have without worrying if they are not if they're Jains or if they don't consume onion and garlic. So there are about 20% dishes which are vegan. Vegan means plant based.
Yeah.
So we don't do anything based animal based product. So हमारी cookies भी coconut oil से बनती हैं. हम उसमें घी या margarine जैसे synthetic fats use नहीं करते, है ना? So Navratra में ये कर रहे हैं, and towards the end of Navratras we are going to have a Mexican festival. So we are looking
That's
forward
quite
towards that.
contrast, I suppose.
Yeah,
Mexican
it is.
festival.
So we have a
That's
friend,
how
she's,
Nidhi is, right? Out
yeah.
of the box. Thought is out of the box always.
Yeah.
It's interesting, very interesting. So your wellness journey has always been roller coaster. I can see from up and down, and you have now in your practices, which you include something
Yeah.
like intermittent fasting or sattvic food, or maybe
I
this
think,
self-love
yeah,
rituals also. So
yeah.
which of these do you feel have the deepest impact? And if someone who is beginning to enter this journey or is beginning this style of living, so what would you advise those people?
I think both go hand in hand. Self love rituals and focusing on your food and what you're intaking. So, a recent development in my life, which I had never done in my life, was gym. So
Oh my
that is a
gosh. Yeah.
recent development, and I am trying my utmost to be very consistent in that.
Yeah.
So I just do one thing. I wake up telling myself 5 4 3 2 1. I wear my shoes. अगर सुबह नहीं गए तो शाम को जाएंगे, शाम को नहीं गए तो सुबह जाएंगे. So we are making sure that that physical activity is a part of my daily routine, because I have always faced challenges with sleeping. I also suffered from insomnia. So this was something that always caused me challenges. So a lot of hormonal issues, I think, also happen and get aggravated because of if you're not taking good sleep. So my food journey, sattvic food journey, and intermittent fasting was largely responsible for my physical healing. But when they say self love, so that has helped me heal emotionally through all the traumas that sit in my heart and my life through the childhood, right? So I would say both are
Yes.
equally important. Do not
I
just focus on your body, because body is going to either make you or break you. You can't be spiritual if you are sick, I feel.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
So your mind and body both are connected. Rather, mind, body, and soul. The alignment is the
yeah,
beautiful version of your न्यू वे ऑफ लिविंग बिकॉज नॉर्मली ऐसा होता है कि लोग समझते हैं कि बॉडी इज सेपरेट एंड माइंड वर्क्स इंडिपेंडेंटली बट एक्चुअली द रियलिटी इज दैट ऑल आर अलाइंड अगर ये अपनी जगह ठीक काम कर रहा है बॉडी विल completely balance it and that's how it is exactly. So now moving further, I would also like to know that you also conduct some retreats at the end of every month that you have recently just started. I think it is called as Maitri, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, you're right.
So that healing retreat, Maitri, which is like a sanctuary for women. So what transformation do you envision for women who come there? And what's the first step women can take right now to be a part of your retreat or be that healing journey?
Right. So, whatever activity that we do at Ahar or in Dharamshala, or like me, Pankaj, and Ahar, now we have integrated the entire experience of healing journey, because Pankaj does spiritual art. I am into emotional healing, and Ahar caters to physical wellness of the person.
So mind, body,
So
soul connection,
exactly,
perfect connection. Yes,
exactly. So we
absolutely.
say that at Ahar we take care of the bodies, at emotional wellness we take care of the minds, and with spiritual art you take care of your spiritual journey, right? So there we integrate all of that. So food can also help enhance that journey. So if I talk about retreats and all the events that we do here, we are trying to integrate all of these aspects, because that is what we want to be known for. We don't want to be known for only selling good food. We want people to understand that how good food has the impact on the body and can help you heal in many ways. Simultaneously, if you're working on your minds, it's important, for people who are looking forward to join Metri. Metri came as, I have been a very friendly person from the very beginning. I have never been a person who's reserved and restricted and distant from people. I am myself. So in the beginning, when I hadn't evolved to this state, I would feel that I'm so stupid. I'm so open and friendly with people. People take me for granted. People use me as a doormat. And today I say I am happy to be the way I am, because this is my identity. I am a person who is a friend. So when I learned to become a friend with my own self, which happened during this transformational journey that I went through when I started learning more about life coaching and everything, uh, this is when this word struck me, Maitri. Maitri means coming home to yourself. It also means friendship.
Yes.
So it means, women have a tendency, or the circumstances, the way they are always made to work for others. And I think somewhere instinctively also they do a lot for others, but they always keep themselves secondary. So they are they are selfless, but resentful and bitter with other people, because they have to sacrifice their joys and their happiness and their desires to do that. When I learned that you don't need to do that, and you can do it in this manner also, where you are putting yourself first, you are befriending yourself, you're loving yourself more, you can really transform. And whatever I feel and do today is because of that thing. So I would like to request women to start looking into the mirror and asking themselves, why can't I love you? Why can't I love
Absolutely.
you? What is it that I don't like about you? Ask yourself. And why can't you embrace yourself? So when I did that to myself, so I used to consider myself quite not good looking and ugly. And I would say that, the ugly duckling story that we all have heard. So I used to think that, why did I not take the fair complexion from my mother and big, big eyes from her? And why did I have to take everything from my father who's dark and everything? So I used to think that I'm not pretty when I was growing up in teenage. A lot of us, like we do suffer from this I am not enough syndrome, no matter what age we are in, right? And that completely transformed when I started looking at myself and accepting myself. I think the journey starts when you decide not to live the way you're living anymore. So probably my journey started when I looked up at the sky and said, I'm not meant to suffer. That came from within my life. I encountered Buddhism, I transformed a lot from there. I think your life starts opening and the universe starts connecting you to places, to organizations, to people, to situations, to new knowledge when you're open. So I would want people to start to open themselves up while accepting myself. And you can simply do that by standing in front of the mirror.
Yes. So it's actually, if you, what you have said, exactly ऐसा ही है जैसे अगर मेरा glass full है, so I can pour from that only. If it is
Yes,
empty,
empty.
I will I will not be able to give it back. या
We
उसके
can't.
अंदर क्या वो emotion है? If it is filled with the emotion of love, satisfaction, happiness, you are going to share and you are going to give back to the society and your family the same thing. But
Yes.
अगर आपके ही अंदर अगर आप ही गुस्सा, jealousy और इस तरह के इमोशंस के साथ आप खुद you are filled inside, automatically it comes out. So as you mentioned, it's so true that you have to, this self love is the first step
Yeah.
towards healing, towards your own journey, when you start identifying yourself, because वो self love के बाद life बहुत आसान हो जाती है. Because in our culture this self love is counted as selfish. But I'm sure if people start identifying it, they will relate to it that this is the first step towards your own personal happiness.
Yeah.
And agar aap khud khush ho gaye, so I'm sure you are going to give this back to the society. So that was so fantastic that this name, this idea, and how your cafe and retreat, it states as if coming back home. क्योंकि घर ही है वो एक जगह जहां आप शाम को अपने काम के बाद आना पसंद करते हो. That's so true.
Yes.
So now I want you, it's almost time, so now we are going to close this podcast. But I want you to address the viewers, those who would be watching later, that especially those young women who dream big, but they doubt themselves or fear taking that unconventional path. मेरे ख्याल में you would be the right person because you have never followed any norms, never followed any traditions, and
Yeah.
you are the one who thinks always out of the box. So, what is your message to help them believe in their own power and courage to create their unique path? I'm sure people would love to hear from you.
So, one thing that I have instinctively always followed and then learned in my journey of practicing Buddhism, and then learned when I came to become a life coach. And then before that, I also learned it as a designer. So, when we are designing something, before we reach the final product, we always do explorations. So they're called explorations. So there will be many iterations and different things that we create before we reach a final this thing. So I would like to share a small story here. So in the final course that we had in NID called Design for Space, and our faculty was Siddharth Das, Nandita Das's brother. So the actress Nandita Das, unke brother. So he came for a final course, and the course was called Design for Space, and we had to create a lighting system through fabric and paper, and not using too much of methodology, just using fabric and paper somehow. And he would always fly back to Delhi एंड देन कम बैक ऑन मंडे. सो हमारे पास वीकेंड होता था जो काम हमें मिलता था उसको करने के लिए. And the day he had to come, Monday, I worked very hard. I did many explorations, but I was not able to come out with that satisfactory thing. So we had to create this lighting system. Light और बल्ब का हमने कुछ नहीं करना, but frame, the lampshade had to be created. So we were given small 6 by 6 frames of wire on which we had to create an effect and folds and whatever we had to do with paper and fabric. I must have done around 40-50 explorations, and I was not happy with anything that I did. And I did not present my work when Siddharth entered the room and he asked that I can see. So we were 15 students. 13 frames दिख रहे हैं मुझे window पे. We had to put it against the light. बाकी के दो कहाँ हैं? So one was Tulsi, my classmate, a boy, and me, who hadn't put up. Tulsi was still working, and I was clueless what I had to put up. So he said, after tea break, I want all 15 of them to be up there. I somehow just did a very quick fan fold. हम paper fan fold करते हैं ना. मैंने कहा और कुछ तो समझ नहीं आ रहा, यही कर देती हूँ. I just did that and put it up. It was only Tulsi's and mine which was selected to be taken forward, and all the 13 was scraped off and asked to redo. So he said, why did you not put it up? I said, because I thought it might not be good enough. He said, that is not your job. I get paid for it. Let me do my job. You do your job, right? So that was something that gave me a lot of confidence. No other faculty had ever said this to me, that let me do my job. Don't judge yourself enough. So even if you're feeling the fear, do it anyway. So fears
Exactly.
are always going to be with us. They are like, in Buddhism, they say that they are like the souls or these people who sit on the right and the left shoulder. So,
Yes.
so they keep talking to us all the time. They're
The
always
good
going
and
to
the
be
bad.
the
Yeah,
good and
good
the
and the
bad. They're
evil.
always going to be
Yeah,
present,
absolutely.
right? But feel the fear and do it anyway is what I have followed. I have made mistakes, like I shared earlier. I have burnt my hands, learned from my mistakes. So today, the kind of motherhood or the kind of mothering I do to my daughter, I do not want her to be very careful as someone. I want her to make her mistakes. So
Absolutely. Because life is the best teacher. How much you
that's how
learn in
you
the
learn.
books,
That's how you
actually.
learn. So I
And the good
recently,
and the bad you talk about, just to add there, the more you feed whichever the part of you
part of
feed,
you,
whether good or bad,
yeah,
that is the reality. So agar aap apne good ko feed karoge, it becomes your reality. If you feed your bad or the evil part of it, it becomes your reality. So you have to decide. Again, it comes down to something called as your choice.
yes. So
That's
I would like to close
fabulous.
with one thing that, there's a book that I read called Becoming the Imperfectionist. In that, they say that we start teaching our children to always color within the lines.
Yeah.
It's going to be neat and nice, but we never set them free to color as they want to do, and they start to think out of the box. So I struggled a lot to think out of the box, because for a very long time in my life I just knew how to color within the circle and within the box. So let's stop doing that, and you will be able
Thank you
to
so
achieve
much,
whatever
Nidhi.
you want to achieve. Yes.
That was fabulous. A very strong message. And I'm sure simple but easy to understand that if you move out of your box, sky is the limit. Thank you so much for your inspiring,
Thank you so much.
inspiring podcast today. So that was such an inspiring conversation with Nidhi today. A reminder that when we think differently and follow our inner calling, we can truly transform not just our lives, but the lives of many around us, just like Nidhi, what she has done. This is exactly the vision behind Good Vibes Only podcast, to bring you stories of individuals who dare to think out of the box and turn possibilities into reality. So stay tuned, because we'll be back with more real life stories of courage, creativity, and inspiration in the upcoming episodes. Until then, keep the good vibes flowing. Thank you so much. Bye bye and take care. Thank you, Nidhi.